Hey guys, so while I'm on a Bitcoin kick, I just wanted to talk about an idea that I've been meaning to write up for a long time, and I just haven't had enough time to do it. So I'm just going to talk about it. I'm pretty excited about it. The idea is essentially how to put Bitcoin keys on a plastic card, a credit card. Um, so let me give you the vision. The idea is, wouldn't it be amazing if you could use Bitcoin in virtually any point of sale transaction thing around the world, right? Like you go into the store, like the holy grail is you go into the store, you've got your credit card, you put it into the machine, and everything goes through. It's all seamless for the payee and for the merchant and for the client. It's just Bitcoin is transacted on the back end. That would be really amazing. I think there's actually a way to do this. And it doesn't require like setting up a Bitcoin debit card, like BitPay has like a debit card that's managed by them, and you add funds, and it's like through Visa and all that. I think you could actually put keys themselves directly on a card like this. And if you do so, it actually results in greatly eliminating, almost entirely eliminating the risk of double spends for point of sale transactions. So here's what I mean. On these little cards is a chip. The chip is called an EMV chip. And on EMV chips, they already are programmed to do basic cryptographic functions. Okay, and there are companies which manufacture these cards with the EMV chips. You can customize the things that you put on the chips. This is not an advertisement for Capital One Venture One, by the way, which is a good credit card. So you could, in theory, put Bitcoin keys, just the keys, a way to sign transactions on the chip, on the cards. So if it were the case that you could only put the keys on the card, then by loading up the card through other means and actually transacting with just using the card, you've greatly reduced the possibility of double spending, because the card is stupid and it literally doesn't have the possibility of double spending because it can't push two transactions to the other side of the globe. In the circumstance in which the only thing that's on the card is the keys and the ability to sign transactions, it's now the actual payment terminal software that is pushing the transaction to the network. So if the payment terminal, the merchant's payment terminal, is the thing that pushes the transactions to the network, well, the merchant doesn't have to worry about double spends because the merchant is not going to double spend himself. So that's a cool idea. And there's even ways you can kind of make it even stronger. But I think the biggest obstacle to something like that coming into existence is business connections with the manufacturers of payment terminals, because apparently this is like a gray area legally. And it's like when a merchant buys one of those payment terminals, they can accept different credit cards depending on the payment terminal. Different credit cards, they like call up the credit card company and set up, program their software for the point of sale terminal in order to accept whatever they're trying to accept. You can essentially do the same thing. It's just you have to negotiate with more open manufacturers of payment terminals to be able to program all of the code necessary both to interact with the keys on the card and to push transactions to the network. So I did a little bit of research on this, and this idea was floated a long time ago, but it never really had legs, because people were like, oh, well, it's not decentralized. Like, in order to do it the right way, well, you'd need a company to take care of the payment processing. Like the keys aren't necessarily going to transact straight to the merchant, and like you have to have middlemen. I'm not worried about that. I don't think I've yet to see any real substantial objections why you couldn't do this. And it doesn't bother me at all that companies would be involved in the process. So that's the general idea. I wish somebody would figure out a way to do it so we can walk around with, not with debit cards that you load up with Bitcoin, but actual plastic cards that have the Bitcoin keys on them. If you guys find that interesting, there's a bunch of other more details which cool things which follow from doing things this way, which I can talk about. But if you get the general idea, somebody please make that happen.